Golf Podcast, presented by Golficity, where we bring you the tips, instruction, and support you need to get the most out of your golf game. And now your hosts, Frank and Mike.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Golf Podcast. This is episode number 201. I got Mike here with me as always. Mike, what's up?
What's going on, Frank? How's everything?
Good, man. Hey, I tell you what, I love the response from the 200th episode. That was a lot of fun, a lot longer than our usual episodes, but thank you everybody who reached out, emailed us, congratulating and stuff like that on the 200th show. One big thing that I can't put this out there enough. Forget congratulating us. I want to say thank you to you guys, because without you guys as listeners, trust me, we would have made it here. It's all because of the fact of you guys kind of keep us going, emailing us, the motivation, things like that. Plus the fact that we've been able to speak to such a large audience has really opened up some huge doors for us. A lot of the people you heard us flash back to, a lot of the great interviews that we were able to land is largely because of the fact that you guys are out there dedicated listening to the show. And that really helps open doors, and we get to talk to some new people. Plus the feedback you guys have provided throughout the years as far as show topics, things you want to hear. I mean, that's great. I mean, that really provides so much fuel for us. So we appreciate every little bit of that. Also, like we talked about in the last episode, we've got a big giveaway going on right now to celebrate our 200th episode. You can just go to golficity.com/200. 200, and you can pull that up. It's free to enter, and we're giving away a $200 shopping spree to the PGA Superstore. If you don't have one near you, you can use that to order online. So, that'll go a long way towards a new driver and putter, whatever. Just even they got apparel. You can outfit yourself for the new season. So lots of great stuff there. Other big news. I mean, we just got added to Google Play. So that's our continuation of trying to make sure the podcast is everywhere. Cause I know everybody out there kind of listens on different platforms. We've got listeners from literally all over the world. So we try to make sure that we're everywhere. We were just, got the podcast on Spotify. Maybe it was like, I don't know, a month ago. Obviously we've been on iTunes forever. So that's where we're just kind of trying to be everywhere. Today we've got a great interview. We're going to be speaking with Colin McCarthy. You guys probably know him as 2SideGolf on Instagram. He's got really just, I've wanted to speak to him for a while, because not only is I love watching some of his trick shots and some of his, just in general, like his skill level with these shots where he's able to hit the ball on both sides like a switch hitter. But also he's got a great personality. If you follow him on Instagram, I think he's one of the most entertaining golf instructors in the game right now. So I want to pick his brain a little bit. I'm looking forward to talking about that. And the other thing, Mike, is just kind of as we're going to record this, I was just quickly going through my email. Just got another email from one of our listeners, Samuel Lee, who, Sam, we talked about this and we mentioned before your hole-in-one, that incredible hole-in-one story. And then he just mentioned, sadly, the passing of Ed Lee, who's a San Francisco mayor, who happened to be there and signed the card for Sam. And I just wanted to mention this because, Sam, when I heard that news, actually I was driving and you were, I thought of you immediately, and I thought, I just remembered that story and that great story. And I've heard a lot of people sharing great stories about how good of a guy Ed was. So, we're sad to hear about his passing too. And I had immediately thought about you when I heard that. So, thanks for emailing. And actually it was kind of cool. Just as kind of a side note, if you didn't get a chance to check that out, Sam went and put together a video kind of overlaying us talking about it on the podcast and some of the pictures from that day when he made that hole in one. So really
that was
awesome
great
stuff. I mean, that stuff, I love hearing those stories, Mike. That's a kind of like, that just excites me when I hear these like hole in ones and some of these accomplishment stories that you guys write in and send to us,
Yeah, it's great. I mean, even from the little comments too, drop the handicap a few. Thanks, guys. Keep up the work. I mean, that stuff gets me through the day as well.
No doubt. In the Facebook group especially, guys, just keep that coming in. And if you haven't had a chance to join our Facebook group yet, definitely do so. It's 100% free, and it's a really great community of listeners of the show, and as well as Mike and myself. And we get to just kind of like chat informally between episodes and talk about things. And plus, when we have a new episode drop and things like that, we'll post it in there. So it's just a kind of a great way to stay in touch. And we also use it for like just kind of getting everybody together when we do different things. Like we had the virtual open last summer. We're going to do something like that again this summer. We just still have to work it out. But right now, like we were just talking about it on Golficity Live. There is no off season for us right now, Mike. We are full steam ahead with Golficity. Everything from shooting vlog episodes. We're going to be traveling down to Orlando for the PGA show in a couple weeks, which I haven't even begun to think about like getting ready for that yet. I've been so busy. We've got great stuff happening with Golficity, working on this app launch, as well as bringing some additional podcasters on the platform with new shows to add to the Golficity platform. So Mike, I mean, it's just a whirlwind.
Yeah. And not to mention, I think like 70 days we head to Bay Hill. And here's the thing with Bay Hill, Frank, because, and this goes for anybody who's playing in a pro-am or a big event, I should say, who lives up in the Northeast and they're playing in the warmer weather in the beginning of the year. That's going to be my first round of the year. That's going to be probably like the first real swings, because I don't, between now and, mid-March, I don't see much outside golf activity for me. Right. So I'm not putting down the early excuses. I'm just saying it's going to be really hard. I mean, I don't know. What do you think I should do? Do you think I should just not care? Or do you think I should go indoors and prep for this thing?
I think it's always a smart decision to stay like loose, so to speak, and just kind of getting some swings in. But I think as far as if you want to just have a mindset shift, and this is what I'm going to be there caddying for you for. But one thing that I've found is that I tend to, every season, I feel like I tend to play best my first couple rounds, and then it kind of goes downhill, and then I start to warm up and come into the season and play better. And I think the reason why I play well those first 1 or 2 rounds is because I don't have those expectations. Talk to me in August and I'm going to be expecting to shoot well. Like I have no excuses in my mind, so to speak. I've been playing for a couple months. I'm expecting that. But when I play those first couple rounds, usually in April up here, I don't have expectations. I don't have that pressure. I just feel like I'm just going out there and having fun. And at the end of the day, I think that's going to be the key for this Bay Hill experience for you, is just going out there and having fun. Because don't forget, it's a team score situation.
Right.
It's certainly a once in a lifetime thing. I think you just got to go out there, enjoy the good shots you do hit, shake off the bad ones, and just kind of have fun with it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it's going to be all about having fun. I mean, there's going to be nerves involved. But I want to pull up that Instagram post from Hank Haney. Just came out today, Frank. You're going to like this. He said, if I had to make the guess, I'd say after the Farmers and the Genesis, Tiger's going to play the Honda, then the Arnold Palmer before the Masters. So the GOAT's going to be on the grounds, I think. So you and I are going to have some action-packed week down there. And you know what? I think I'm going to get in the simulator in February. Things kind of lighten up for me in February. So I think I'm going to get in there and just, way home from work, book a half-hour session. Doesn't have to be playing around. Just put the range on. Put the range on for me, and I'll hit a half hour in the virtual range. Give me that once or twice a week and I'm good.
Without a doubt. I mean, there's so much you can do in a concentrated half hour of practice. I think it's definitely a smart move. I'm trying to do the same myself. I'm trying to stay limber, doing my, exercises, my stretches, things like that. But yeah.
And you have an indoor range now at your facility. Just put it in, a really beautiful looking one with TrackMan.
Yep. And they finally figured out the pricing over there.
They did.
It was brand new and they didn't know how to charge people, and it was like a mess, and they were overcharging, and now they've straightened it out and it's completely reasonable and fair now.
Okay.
So it's it's like $30 an hour. So it's just, it's well worth it. But yeah, you can get a lot done with that. So I'm going to be working on that myself as well. But yeah, Bay Hill coming up, and you know what? One thing I've been having a lot of fun with Bay Hill has been these fun little commercials we've been shooting. So if you're following us on any social media, you've seen these because we drop them on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. But we just had the one where you and I working out in the gym, where I, quote unquote working out, where I was squatting the bag. And we've got a lot of fun ones coming up. We just kind of, figured we'd have some fun with this and shoot some quick, funny videos. So we put those together, and you guys will be seeing those in the weeks leading up to this. But yeah, if you're not already, make sure you're following us on specifically on Instagram, Snapchat. I mean, cause those are where we're going to be posting a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, as we're traveling down to Orlando for the PGA show and for Bay Hill. We're going to be putting some stories and things like that together for you guys. And it's just a great way to interact. And sometimes we'll do just some impromptu lives on Instagram and take some comments and feedback and things like that. So definitely be sure to check that out. Anyway, I just want to remind everybody again before we jump into the interview, go to golficity.com/200 to get involved with the giveaway that we've got going on right now. I'll remind you guys a few times until we do our drawing in a few weeks. And then after that, we're going to be lining up some more giveaways, but this is a fun one. Just a quick way to win a $200 shopping spree just for listening and following along with the show. So let's go ahead and just bring Collin in on the show now, because like I said, I've been really excited to talk to him. I've been chatting with him on that DM on Instagram a little bit, but I haven't had a chance to speak with him directly yet. So this is going to be a fun one, Mike.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, guys. So we got a great interview for you. We got Colin McCarthy of 2SideGolf. You've probably seen him. You've probably followed him on Instagram. Colin, welcome to the show.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I've been following you for a long time. Just give me a little bit of an overview. And for people who aren't following you yet, a little bit about yourself, a little bit about what you do.
I've been dragging the club since I was, since I could drag a club, since I was a little kid, a baby. I've had a club in my hand. It's been my passion. It's been my fire. It's been my everything, literally. Put aside everything in my life for golf, because I have a connection to it that not many people have, as you guys know.
Yeah.
It's that 1%, that 1% of people that's, 7 billion people in the world, more, growing. But we want to get it to that as many percent as we can. And I feel with, the Instagram stuff and the jokes, and people are like, oh, why don't you focus on one thing? I was like, why?
Right.
Why focus on one thing? Why one facet when you can get as many as you can? And that's what I'm trying to do. So going all kinds of directions right now, but big things coming up this year. I'd mentioned a lot about FitTrig. I mentioned a lot about PGA show and stuff on the following. Some cool things in wraps for Cut as well. So if you guys don't know who Cut is, check him out.
Definitely. And so you're going to be down there at the PGA show this year?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be absolutely like last year, kind of the PGA, like the golf instructor, I should say golf instruction for structure, like just in general, kind of like knew my whereabouts. I went to the forum. I got to know a lot of the guys. I just basically networked. Mm-hmm. And then I worked from Facebook to Instagram. And when I have the time, I can go from Instagram to YouTube, but that really hasn't, taken. It takes a lot of time to edit for YouTube. So maybe.
And you know what? The fun stuff is that kind of off the cuff stuff, those stories. I mean, I was watching yesterday, hitting the gym, things like that. So it's just great to kind of get that background stuff. But tell me a little bit about the whole two-side philosophy.
Well, it came about like probably last year or so. I thought to myself, I was like, I want to have an experience where I want to go through that same thing I went through again. I want to go through what everyone goes through when they first start playing golf, like fresh. How do I do that? Like, what makes me connect to the student as much as possible? Why not go from the other side? People are like, oh, you're dominant. I was like, that doesn't matter. It's all in the head. If you strengthen your muscles, we won't go as far as talking about, muscle memory, but you strengthen your muscles to do a certain functionality, they can do it. They can. I mean, you can make your swing look like anything you want. Mm-hmm. Really. It's kind of cool. But, I dived into it and I was like, okay, first month was a little rough. I had to, fit myself, obviously, with FitTrig. I had to understand the functionality. So I literally went all like crazy science man and drew on my wall, and that's a different story. But it kind of grew, and then second, third, and fourth month were huge steps. Like I took huge progressive steps, and then finally at the end of the fourth month, I broke par.
Wow.
And Yeah, it was I kind of shocked myself, honestly, to figure out how simplistic functionality is in the golf swing and how your body functions and how it works. It's kind of cool.
So by making that switch just to the other side, I mean, you learned so much about I mean, that's probably what you were trying to get into with Mike, right?
Yeah, you kind of nailed it right there. And to take it a step further, Colin, so basically you play golf from both sides. Mm-hmm. So two separate handicaps? I mean, two separate scoring? Wait, what happens there?
If I need a certain shot from somewhere, I mean, I can flip the club upside down. Granted, you're going to hit it off the toes, so you got to know that. Yeah. You're not going to hit the center of the face. It's just not possible. You'll hit it so fat that you just jar your hands. It just doesn't feel good.
But we're rarely presented with that out on the course. It's rare that we're ever going to have it unless the ball's tucked in a really odd position, which might be one time. So if you go out and play a fresh 18, what's your go-to? Righty, I'm assuming.
Yeah, righty. I do hit, when I was really young, 16, 17, I did long drive. I could average 350, 360. My club head speed was 138 on average.
Wow.
Then, as extreme sports do, they catch up to you and eventually something happens. You get an accident. It happens to a lot of athletes, I find. So I take it in stride as it's a blessing, because I wouldn't know what I know now about science. I wouldn't know what I know now about the golf swing and people in general, how to help people. I mean, forget me playing golf. Like, people like, go tour. I'm like, I'm not passionate about me. I'm not passionate about my score. I'm passionate about, I want them to do something I know I can already do. So we can keep this game going as much as possible.
And I'd say a big proof of that is the fact that you would commit yourself to learning the game or relearning the game from the other side, just to kind of regain that perspective of where a new student might be starting from. And to me, it's just amazing how far you come, because I'll be honest with you, the first time I checked out your account, I'm like, I can't tell whether this guy's a righty or a lefty, because the swing is just that clean from both sides. But there's another thing too, is we've interviewed a lot of trainers on the show, a lot of physical trainers. And one thing that they kind of often say, and one thing I've heard them come back to a lot of times, is the fact that a lot of golf, like injuries and things like that, happen because we're doing such a repetitive motion in the same direction constantly. So, and some of them had said, like, it'd be great if you were swinging in both directions, we could even you out a little bit more. So I know you've learned it, you've used it as a teaching thing for yourself and to be able to teach others, but do you actually, with your students, work on this at all? Do you have them swinging from both sides, and do you do it for the reason of learning more about your golf game, or from a fitness or a motion standpoint? What's your thinking there?
Every kind of standpoint you can possibly imagine. Understanding your body, understanding how to move it, how to function it, how to deliver the club is so essential in the golf swing, and a lot of people lack it.
Yeah.
Either their clubs don't fit them. So say, for instance, the club's too long for them. They can't fully extend. Full extension is not possible. It's not. You'll hit it fat every time. And I've seen it so often. I'll go up to him and be like, so you hit it left. And he go, how'd you know that? I was like, you probably hit it fat most of the time. Well, yeah, all I got to do is stand next to them and do a measurement for where their hands are. So say, for instance, I'm a half inch over. I know that mathematically. But if they're like this, to me, I know automatically if they have standard clubs, they're going to hit it fat every time. Yeah. This is my hand. This is theirs. Because they can't fully extend. So if they tried it left, hopeless. Yeah. If they tried it right, hopeless. No matter what side of the ball you're on, it's exactly the same. The only difference scientifically that there is eye dominance. That's it. Eye dominance plays a giant part in full swing, chipping, putting, everything. Yeah. It's really cool. Some of the stuff I've been researching on eye dominance in general. I mean, some people will fit certain putters where other people won't.
Right.
Just not, they feel, oh, it's not comfortable because you can't see past your head.
Right.
You can't see where you're going.
Well, that's cool too. I mean, from the side of like learning the other side, your opposite to your natural side, I guess that would kind of give you perspective of a lot of things from your natural side that you would take for granted. usually. Like something like that, like eye dominance, you might not even really think about it until it's kind of taken away from you, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. And then as far as the clubs, that's another interesting point you make. Mike and I just went through a whole fitting a week or two ago with Pete's Golf, and we found that how often that really does happen, because a lot of these like driver manufacturers, they're trying to sneak out those little bit of extra yards, right? So it just kind of, the clubs just get longer and longer. And then we end up, like you said, look how many people who will, write into us and they'll be like, do a podcast about hitting it fat, because so many people are doing that, not realizing you're working against yourself with some of the equipment that's out there.
You're working against physics.
Yeah.
When basically my whole life, accidentally, I've gone through things that I can relate to golf in any facet, any possible way. Like I was very fortunate to meet the grandmaster of Bruce Lee, and he taught me a lot about inner chi, inner energy, that your body, how it flows, how you control every single muscle in your body, how you're able to flow your energy. And I put that in the golf swing. I was like, wow, okay, no way. If I can think about how to fully extend all my energy through the club, down the shaft to the center of the club face, there's got to be a mathematical equation.
Yeah.
There has to be. Because if I drop a ball, it drops at 90 degrees. And that's how Fit Trick came about.
That's pretty cool. And that's kind of like, you remember the Bruce Lee used to do like the 1-inch punch, right? And show how much force he could generate in that little bit. And I would imagine, translating that to the golf swing, we see some of these guys like on tour, they're small guys, but their efficiency and the way they're able to efficiently transfer that power, it's just, and they're smoking the ball. I mean, it's nuts.
And what's really, really interesting, they're actually not rotating on purpose. Some of them are, but they're not rotating. Think about it like this. Do you think about rotating when you walk?
Definitely not.
No. But do your hips move from one side to the other? Of course they do.
Right.
Well, if you did that in place, like dancing, when you move your hips, I took up everything you can possibly imagine, because I was that type of person that was like, I want to go do that, man. Not even thinking about it would teach me about golf. I just wanted to go and do it. Then I started throwing all those pieces together, and like, I'm a personal trainer, so I understand, spinal dystrophies. I understand what your spine does, what your facets do, and your spinal cord does, what your discs are capable of doing. And like, when you're in that position, you're not actually using your core to rotate. It's a different muscle. You're using hands. So say, for instance, I take this hand over here, and then I take this hand over here. What did I do if I did it at the same time? I look like I'm I would look like I'm rotating, but in actuality, I'm not taking my clavicle and moving it.
You're just swinging your arms around your body at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. And it is the illusion. It is so elusive to look at the golf swing and not think rotation, because you're in the same place. But think about throwing a ball. You have to step before you throw. But what happens to your body?
Yeah.
It rotates.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. There's energy that's leaving your body through the ball. So if we can think about that during the golf swing, people are going to start hitting the ball a lot further, because if you rotate, not only do you put your spine in danger, because your obliques, your abs, your lower back are not meant actually to turn. They're only meant to stabilize side to side and forward and back. That's it. They're only meant for stabilizers. We're not meant to actually do that. And they're like, oh, well, you can strengthen it. Why? Just use it as a stabilizer. So if I stood like this or like that, or any way I did, I could just move back and forth. But
yeah, it's like, it sounds simple enough. And then there's that execution, but I can see what you're saying. Like, understanding the science of it, by understanding it, you can kind of implement it. It's when you don't have that understanding, you can't go into it. So tell our listeners a little bit more about how, if somebody did want to maybe train with you, or what do you offer out there? Is there ways that people can get in touch with you, or is it something you're just doing locally? Or are you expanding that out teaching over the internet? What's your philosophy there?
I mean, I have students that are in Indiana, California, Texas, New York. I mean, it's everywhere. Just FaceTime. It's face-to-face interactions. It's words. It's understanding. And personally, I think a driving range and hitting golf balls is a distraction because you're not understanding how to move your body. Say, for instance, there's one kid in New York. I did an internship at Scarsdale, a club in Scarsdale. And this one kid, amazing. He's 10 years old. He's a pretty good athlete. But he's like, I couldn't hit the ball. I can't hit the ball. And I was like, well, why not? He goes, I don't know. So I went, his mom was like, hey, you should come over. So I talked with the kid for an hour and a half. The next day we went to the driving range. I didn't say a word. Gets up to the ball, takes a couple practice swings. I was like, okay, go over what we went over. Pipes it, 240.
Wow.
He's 10. He's 10.
Come on.
He's 10. 240 yards, I kid you not. He's slightly bigger than the average 10-year-old, but still, when you start to understand what your muscles need to do, you don't have the illusion of rotation. You don't have the illusion of trying to hit up on the ball.
Right.
Any of those things, they completely disappear. It's just like learning how to walk, right? Learning how to ride a bike. You don't ever lose it again because you understand the feeling. You're not just guessing. It's not a guess.
So you got to really conceptualize it before you go out there and put it in practice.
Exactly. And the problem that a lot of instructors are doing is they're trying to create a process so they can sell it. And that's great. I mean, that's awesome. But it only connects to those people that understand that process. Because here's the thing. There's 3 ways to learn, visual, physical, and then auditory, or just listening. There's an infinite way to understand something, because even twins, identical twins, understand things differently. Every single person out there on this planet understands things in a different way. Till you find that way, they're not going to understand. They're not going to have that connection. And that's the lack thereof in golf, is that connection, that either that connection and passion, whether it's, oh, my dad brought me to the game, or it's the connection on, oh, I get it. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
There's that lack of connection.
And you see what I love so much about that too is that idea, like you were saying, where it's like riding a bike. Once you get it, when you're learning it this way, it stays. Because I think a huge frustration that a lot of people have with, I guess what you would call your traditional golf lesson, is that they feel great like for an outing or two, and then they feel like they lost it or they forgot what the person taught them or whatever it may be. So by doing this and kind of like focusing first on be like, I want to make sure you can completely conceptualize this, it's kind of locked in at that point is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And it's their way. It's not my way that they understand it. So I could troubleshoot their brain. I could troubleshoot their thoughts and be like, okay, what do? They teach math though. Or what do? They're a football player. Soccer players are one of the easiest people to teach how to play golf, because literally the hand is the knee, the foot is the club head.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, that makes sense. So just put it right back. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to turn with it.
Yeah.
You just put it right back where it was. Conceptually, they're like, oh, so energy leaves the shaft. Now, not to get too in depth on it, but there's a big thing that I want to tell everybody here that's listening. Accelerating through the ball is very difficult to do. Only think about where you're starting and where you're stopping. Hard as you can from the start, hard as you can from the stop. Reason being, because in the middle, that would be where?
Yeah, it's the bottom. That's contact.
Contact.
Yep.
So contact would be leaving the club. Because if you accelerated as hard as you could here and stopped it here, it would leave where? In the middle. So if you're throwing a ball, when I throw a ball, I start it here, I end there. I am encouraging it, but I don't try and accelerate, because what would happen if you just tried accelerating through a throw? It would go into the ground.
Right.
That's a big conception that people are I see almost all amateurs, when they see it, they're like, oh, accelerate through, and they either hurt their back or whatever it is from here. to here.
Yeah.
If you can go like that, then you're stopping here. It's even. It leaves your body. Leaves. It's gone.
Yeah. And that's exactly that energy you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, good stuff. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. Tell our listeners a little bit more about how they can find out more about you and how they can get in touch with you.
Well, it's easy to get my handle. It's 2SideGolf. Kind of simplified it from what it was. DMs, or I also have Facebook as well. My name and Collin McCarthy, and PGA Class A professional. So for those of you out there, in PGA or the affiliation, they're like, okay, he's gone through the step process of the business, so he understands the business a little bit. But I do $100 an hour for FaceTime, and also do groups of package program deals as well for like 3 for $250. So there's also if you want to offer like 5, I work with people. It's like, oh, I really can't afford that. Okay, I understand. I'm not like gung ho about that, but it's more of helping as many people as I can as well. And I just got a free data plan for unlimited, so I'll be able to do a lot more lives
on that FaceTime. Right?
Yeah.
Instead of being in my kitchen right now, like cooking and stuff, like I'll be able to go out on the golf course and show people an easier way, or a more effective or more efficient way to swing the club.
That's so cool. And talk about growing the game, which we're all in it for, right? But it was just like 5 years ago, we could have never conceptualized this. Like being able to just with FaceTime, reaching people everywhere. And before you were so limited to like just locally where you could teach, or maybe you hopped around to different clinics around the country or whatever. And now it's just like, boom, anybody who connects with that message can be like, yeah, let's work together. And you can. Talk about growing the game. I think that's going to be one of the biggest things heading forward. Yeah. It's just so cool that you're able to work with so many different people. Because we talked about this before, Mike and I. It's like, I think one of the keys to really finding yourself in this game is finding an instructor that you click with, because you're not going to work well with everybody. But like, let's say you say like, yeah, I don't identify with what Colin's saying, and that's really clicking with me. Being able to say, now I can actually reach out and work with you, even though I'm on the other side of the country. To me, it's an amazing thing.
Yeah,
it really
is.
And,
a good book for anyone to read. It's by Dale Carnegie. It's How to Influence Friends. I think it's, what is the title of it?
I know exactly what you're saying, and I'm trying to run through the title in my head too, because famous book. Yeah.
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
That's right.
Something in that lines. It literally changed my life. One of my golf mentors made me read it. He's like, don't call me back until you finish reading it. Don't talk to me. Don't talk. And I was like, I was blown away by it. I just blown away. It's changed so much what it is. So if any recommendation whatsoever, if you're not going to take up golf, that's fine. But go ahead and read that book, because it's just unbelievable. It changed my whole outlook on how to teach people. Mm-hmm. It didn't have anything to do with golf at all. It just how to understand what people might be thinking, and how to not even coerce them, but have them realize either want help or want to even play. Mm-hmm. I mean, I have people leaving airplanes going, I got to go buy a set of clubs right now. I just sit next to them on the airplane. They're like, oh my God, like that's what I want to do, man. I want to like get as many people, millions, billions. I don't care how many people play this game, just as long as it keeps going. That's all I care about.
Oh yeah, it's a great game, that's for sure. So hey, we'll tell you what, we'll try to catch up with you. I know it's it's crazy and it's huge, but we'll try to catch up with you at the PGA show this year. Mike and I will be down there. Maybe we can link up and say hi.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That'd be fun. Yeah, it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, I can't wait. Crazy. But Collin, again, thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule and hop on the show with us. We appreciate it. Like I said, keep doing what you're doing. Instagram, man, I always look forward to your stuff. It's just it's just fun. That. It's entertaining. I love it. So keep it up, and thanks again for stopping by the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good
See you guys later.
Thanks, Collin.
All right, Mike. So I feel like every time we interview, somebody from an instruction standpoint, I love just learning those new things, those new approaches, those new ways, because it's just so interesting, this idea that like no two people teach the game the same. Everybody's got their own kind of philosophies. I've always kind of liked where Collin was going with what he does. I like the energy he brings to the game. So that's why I've been looking forward to getting him on the show. I actually, the way that all started, I DM'd him through Instagram, I don't know, a month or two ago. And we were just trying to connect back and forth. He's like, yeah, definitely want to get on the show. And we were just trying to set up a time to get together. And, I'm glad it finally happened because it's just so true. I mean, we were talking about this even when we were doing the last vlog episode and talking to some of the guys down there, Golf and Body. They were saying, yeah, the real key to learning this game is just finding an instructor that you kind of click with, because just because someone's like a tremendous golf instructor doesn't mean you're going to work well with them. So, this is where like I wanted to bring that side of it in so people could hear that and understand this idea that you can find other people, maybe even guys who are up and coming instructors, new guys you haven't heard of. It doesn't always have to be like the top, quote unquote, top 50 in Golf Digest instructors or whatever it may be. You know, the world is getting smaller with social media. You can find somebody like Collin. You can reach out. You can work with him, like he said, through FaceTime. You know, it's tremendous to me, but I think I like this idea of finding somebody, you know, maybe testing some different things out, ask different instructors about their philosophies, feel like if there's somebody that you kind of click with, and then go all in and work with them. You know, rather than constantly jumping around and trying different thing to the next thing, because I think that's where people get frustrated with the game. They get frustrated with their lessons and they get confused and they drop out. I like this idea instead of just like, it's like Collin was saying, no two people are going to be the same. It doesn't mean just because you click with this instructor that another person's gonna. So, because there's so many people out there, because we have this access now, I think that's an important message to know and understand. And I think it's a great time for the game, and it's a great time to learn the game for that reason, because we have access we've never had before from a technology standpoint of communication, and from the tools that we can have to learn and measure your game, record your swing. There's just so much to it. But again, Collin had a great story. This 2Side thing where he, you know, he's so good at the game, obviously one way, and then turns around and relearns the entire game lefty, which just to me is amazing.
It's awesome.
And if you haven't checked it out, go to Instagram. His handle is at 2SideGolf, the number 2SideGolf, and just check out Collin's swing from both sides. And he'll do them like immediately, just turn around, flip the club around, the same club. It's not like he's even using a lefty club. He will flip this thing around and hit it. I've seen him hit shots off the toe of a putter that I don't think I could hit with a 5-iron, if that tells you anything.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm flipping through the Instagram right now. I'm seeing
come on. You see him flip these drivers around. So, I mean, it's great to see visually, but it's also, I think the deeper part, and why I wanted to bring him on the show, is the idea of, yes, there's also a lot more deeper stuff that you can learn from it, and that he learned from a physical standpoint. So, great interview. A lot of fun talking to him. That's everything we have for you guys this week. You can get to the show notes, where I'll link to Collin's Instagram and other places where you can find him by going to golficity.com/episode 201. And then, like I said, make sure you get entered into our contest, our giveaway right now. Check us out on Facebook. Turn on those live notifications, because we are now doing a new live segment of the podcast where we're able to interact with you guys directly in the comments. We're trying to do those once a week. We're going to be bringing you a lot more in 2018. So check that out, and we'll see you all again next week.